Hello and welcome. This is Teresa. I'm in Napa, Idaho, and today is Saturday, March 1st at 4:47 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And today I am going to do a mass make of book pages using scrapbook book pages. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed with coming up with catchy and fun titles, but I try. So I have done the prep work for the bases because I spent like 2 hours doing that. So that would have been way too long of a video. And do a mass make. Sorry, didn't turn my volume off. There we go. Okay, so this is my prototype, and this is what they look like after I finish prepping them. So it started off with a book. Let me move this other iPad out of the way. Alright, so it started off as a book that I bought to read. Alright, and it was Run Rose Run, a book by Dolly Parton and James Patterson. And once I was done reading the book, then I tore a bunch of the pages out because I was going to do an altered book. I did a lot to cover up the pages since then. Let me get this more in the camera. But now I'm kind of thinking about using this as a glue book, and I still could, where I would tear the page out and I would use that for a collage page. This one already has a pocket. I mean, it would be kind of fun. I could tear these out and use them. And that's really what a glue book is supposed to be. So this is my glue book. Okay, figured that out. So then I had, much more than this, but a stack of these pages. So I was just going to use them for glue pages, which I still will, but I am, what I want to say, I'm evolving as to how I use book pages like this with glue pages, or like these. I just took them and I tore off the biggest piece of white that I could. This isn't exactly white. I like the color of this paper because it's not stark white. So I just went through the pages and I tore off as much of this stark, empty, no text that I could. And then I just put them to the side. Before that, actually, let me back up. Then I found the blankest part I could, and like I took this and I folded this like this. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the board here. And then I used the glue stick and glued this down. Now what I mean by evolving with glue pages is before I might throw my glue pages away, or I might reuse them, but not in a systematic way. So if I know I'm going to use this page next, it's okay to glue on that, especially because I'm going to use it right away. So then I took my tear ruler and I tore that little piece off, and I kept these little pieces, and I tore the white off of these. Unprinted area. And then I got rid of that. And then for here, I either went like this, or I just tore that little printed part off. Okay, then I have these scraps. So now this is one side, and so I just want to cover this up. Now, I wasn't real worried about covering this part up because I thought that would blend nicely with whatever I'm going to do with the page. So take this little scrap and cover up that print. And that side's done. Then after I did a bunch of these, I went back and I covered up the backs. So that's why you see on the backs of some of these, there are a lot of collage pieces on here. Okay, so that was how that started. Now, when I did my prototype, I was like, oh, that looks nice. And then I turned it over and I went, oh gosh, I wish I would have done the stamping on this side where it's all collaged, because this side would have been much nicer to write on for a journal card. So note to self there. And then I don't usually ink with black, but I did ink with black with this one. So that was kind of fun. And then I inked with brown after that. Soft suede. Okay, so the stamp set that I'm using today is Queen Bee from Stampin' Up. It's a relatively new stamp set, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So now this time I'm going to look at which side I want to stamp on. So I want to stamp on this side. And I'm going to stamp like this, where the fold is, to be the top, because if I want this to be a pocket, then that's got a nice top to it. And that's the thing I thought of after I did this, is because I knew I wanted to mass make with book pages, but I was like, what am I going to call it? Am I going to call it journal cards, pockets, or what? The thing is I don't want to call this anything other than mass make from book page scraps, because this could be a pocket, this could be a journal card, this could be a wraparound pocket with a tuck spot. Look at that. This could be cut in half, so this is a tuck spot and this is a pocket. The sky's the limit with these. That's what was really cool about this. I saw this idea from someone who posted in the Rach and Bella Crafts page, and I don't know people well enough to remember their names, but anyways, I saw that and I went and looked at the video that she was inspired by. It was Bonnie and Clive, I think. And so then this morphed into this. So one of the things that this gal who is part of this YouTube channel is, she kind of boasts that she is a real junk journaler. I think we're all real junk journalers. We just have different techniques, different ideas, different systems, whatever you want to call it. So, but I understand the concept is that she creates stuff strictly from junk. Her definition of junk. So anyways, when I take a scrapbook page and I rough it up and I ink it and I stamp all over it and put gesso on it and whatever, I'm turning that scrapbook page into junk. This used to be a book. I turned it into junk. Just like the pages that other real junk journalers have. At one time, it was something real that was bought from a store and then at some point it gets repurposed and turned into junk. And to me, that's what junk is stuff that you repurpose, whether it's, I mean, it was all brand new at one point, but at a certain point it becomes 1 day old, 2 days old, 1 week old, a year old, century old, whatever. So it's all in your definition and what connotation you might have. So, but nobody's wrong, and it's art, and it's our art, and we do it the way that makes us happy, because that's what junk journaling is all about, is making us happy. It makes me very happy. So now I am going to take this and I am going to stamp onto it with this stamp first. This is just my process that I started with, and I like it. And I'm going to bring this over to this side, stamp it. Then I'm going to take this stamp and I'm going to stamp it once right up here, and then stamp off here. Well, stamped off there, and then second dimension stamp there. And then this is quite a lovely stamp, and I just like it to round it over here. So then I took this side and I used the pinking shears to give it some character. And what did I do next? Then I took my other scissors and I chopped this end off. And then I inked with black. Using a dauber from Stampin' Up. And my Memento black ink. And then I took my soft suede ink and I went back over the edges. And then I took my blender brush. Stampin' Up now has different sizes of these. I'm happy with just this size. I have probably 6 or so of these, so that I can have like brown and blue and green, and that pretty much keeps me happy. So now this is done. And again, you could fold or cut this in half. I'm just going to fold this one. Where's my bone folder? Give this a good burnish. And I'm going to let this one be a wraparound. So I did see this mask make idea from a Corey, and I'm going to try not to slaughter the last name, Dahlman video last night. So that's where I got the inspiration for doing this mask make. Not saying I've never done a mask make before, but for this particular one. So now, this is the side I want to stamp on. And I want the fold up here at the top. And let's stamp. Actually, I'm not going to worry about doing it in the same way. Sometimes it's kind of fun to do a full strength stamp and then a lighter one right beside it as well. And then you can get even more by continuing to do that. That's fun. This time I am going to put this part of the stamp right here. And this time I'm going to take this stamp and I'm going to put it upside down right there. And I'm going to do a second dimension for that. And I got some ink here, so I'm going to wipe that off. I remember I'm going to talk to you about something else I was experimenting from another gal who posted on the Facebook page. So this one is done as far as that's concerned. This time I am going to ink with brown first. Yes, I get a little bored of doing the same thing over and over again. But as you can see, I stuck with it to create the bases. Okay. Where's my blender? Oh, I put it away. Let's just do a little bit of that on the back too. I do definitely like to ink the backs. You know, if this is going to be a pocket, it won't show, but I don't know what this is going to be used for, so I go ahead and prep it so that it can be used as a journal card or whatever. Now, looking at this, it occurs to me that this might be too big for a journal card. So this one, I'm actually going to, I'm going to cut it in half so that it will be a smaller size journal card. There we go. And I don't like that because it's crooked. So we're gonna have to fix. This one's not too bad, but it needs some glue. It's getting dark in here. Let me turn the light on. It's amazing how fast the day goes when you're crafting and having fun. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and just straighten it up. Here we go. That looks better. Now, when I go to use this, I might want to stamp a flower on it or do something like that. So this mask make is just getting me to a certain point. Well, sometimes I'll decorate and embellish them too. Maybe all depending on the time. We're at 20 minutes right now. I might do some. Okay, so this is my flattest side. Here's my folded side, so I'm going to stamp like this. Oh dear. No, that was okay what I did. Okay. So this time I'm going to have fun with flowers. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to ink it. And ink on the back. And then on this one, I'm just going to do that. And we're going to call that one good. So that one has a lot of opportunity to do something more with it when I'm ready to use it in a journal. So I'm going to use this side to stamp on. There's the folded part. So I'm going to just do this. And then I'm going to ink it. On both sides. Now you notice here that there's a little bit of print coming through. I liked that, and I let that happen because I liked the way that looked. So that was not a happy accident. That was on purpose. Okay, so now I'm going to leave that one that way, and it has a lot of options to do something with it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up this stamp set. And I'm going to grab a different stamp set because I have quite a few more pieces. I better hurry up though, it's getting cold back here. I'm going to have to turn the heat up. Okay, I wanted to use this one. Oh my goodness, there is a leg. Wow. Huh, I'm going to close this. I like to watch online to see how it's doing, and it's just now showing the red book. So that is weird. Let me just check technology real quick here. Shows on my program that I'm still running live. Okay, shows Quiet Meadow now, so that was weird. I get weirded out easily. If you watch some of my videos, you've seen that. Do that one. Okay, so here's our piece. We're going to stamp on this side like that. Okay, so we're going to start with the flower over to the side. That's because this is so tall, we're going to do it this way. Now this could be like a side pocket. And we're going to do some typeface. I think that's what you call it. And our inking. And our back inking. And we're going to do a little black inking. And there's what we've got for that one. I like that. And so then could just take 2-inch hole punch, punch a notch out. Perfect. Okay, time for a drink. Now we're going to take another one and do almost the same thing, only we're not going to go ahead and turn it into a side pocket. And we're going to put it on this side, and we'll do another one right there, and little flower right there. So I'm still not doing things right with going live because I rarely have anyone visit me while I'm live. So folks aren't seeing me, so don't know what to do about that. If anybody's got any suggestions as to how I can make it obvious that I'm live to get more of an audience, I would love to hear that. I'm always learning, and I'm always happy to learn. I love learning. Learning how to make junk journals and ephemera and all of that has really become an obsession for me. I've got a craft fair coming up next Saturday, and so this is going to be a lovely addition to what I'll have to show. First, I was like afraid to put my ephemera out on the table to show folks, and then I decided to order some cellophane bags, and I'll put some of the more precious pieces, I feel kind of silly saying that, to me in those bags so that folks can pick them up and look at them. And if they try to open them up, I'll slap their hands. So let's do another one. Now, this time, let's do this in brown. So we're going to clean off our stamps. Actually, maybe I'll do the typeface in black still. I think that would be fun. Okay. There we go. Now, this one, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. Let's see, this is about 4 1/4, 4 1/2. So we're going to do 2 1/4, yeah. About 2 1/4 looks good. And we're going to make tags with this one. This is the Very Best Trio Punch. Probably should have done this first. I always try to do this first, because I feel like I'll be more successful of getting this in the center, but I actually did a pretty good job on that one. So there's one tag. And there's another tag. So that was fun. And we've got one more piece left for our mass make. So I think my intention for this one will be for it to be a belly band. I think I'll go ahead and put my typeface down first this time. And we'll do a flower upside down there, and a flower that way, there, and just all over the place. I just love this stamp set. Okay, and what's fun about this too is this stamp set has some amazing dies that go with it for, you know, foliage to punch out or to cut out, and that would look great to lay a die piece on top of this too. So actually I think on this one, ooh, I didn't ink these at all. Kind of felt like I was missing something. I'm kind of excited. It's a silly thing to be excited about. But I have a short video that is almost 1,000 views. Never had that before, so it's just kind of fun. So there's some loose stuff here, and I think it would be easier to try and tack it down with liquid glue than to try and figure out how to get the glue stick underneath there. Okay, that one looks fine. Oops, nope, a little bit there. Little bit there to tidy. Hubby did a much better job of getting the trailer level. Look at that, that's not moving. Before, when I'd lay it down, it would roll this way. Today it was rolling this way. So because we moved from one space to another, and if you watch my videos, you know that what I'm talking about is that I live in not a mobile home, a travel trailer. And so that is our life of full-time RV living, and we're loving it. So what am I going to do with you? Oh, I was going to make this a belly band. So this is going to be a small belly band, and it's going to be 2 belly bands. So I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'll ink them. I just want to see about, well, let's see. 10, 14, yeah, 2. Okay, 2 inches. Ooh, but if I do 1.5, then I can have 3 belly bands. Let's go for that. It's going to need some tidying. Okay, that looks good. Look at this pile that we've got from this mass make. Let's count them. 1, 2, actually I want to do something more to that real quick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and like I said, that could be 2. Oh, many of these could. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. In fact, here's a 13. That's pretty cool. Here's another fun thing that a person could do. So what we could do here is we could fold this over like this, not for the purpose of doing a wraparound, but for the purpose of doing a side tuck. I should have done my little notch. Oh, that's too small. We'll use the one in vertical punch. That'll work. Now we can glue that down. Have to give that a good burnish because it's kind of thick right there. There we go. That's kind of cool. So much that we can do with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop up the glue. And we'll do just a little bit of decorating. This way, that away. Put the lids on the ink so they don't dry out. And we're not going to need the pinking shears. This yoo-hoo is about shot. Now, what I wanted to do to this was take my crocodile and just round these corners. You know, another thing that I could do with this, and I'm going to go ahead and do that with this one, is fold this in half. Boy, I don't want to waste that though. Let's do it a different way. I'm going to take a piece of, ouch. Not a piece of ouch, but a piece of very vanilla cardstock. And I am going to fold it in half. I wish this was alive where people were watching, because then I'd ask if anybody knows what I'm about to do. That would be fun. Some interactive chatting while crafting together. Doesn't have to be any one person necessarily leading the crafting, but that would be fun. Okay, I was just reaching over there to get a paper clip. I'm going to do a hidden paper clip. Means I've got the cardstock. Actually, I think I'll do 2 hidden paper clips. I don't want to hide one of my gold fancy. Let me grab another paper clip. Okay, now we're going to separate these. Does it annoy you when you knock over your glue? I can't tell you how much that annoys me when I do that. I yell at myself sometimes. So I'm going to take this one. Okay. The back side's going to be upside down kind of, but it's okay. So I'm going to fold this in half. Okay. Now I'm going to take some double-sided tape. I feel like this clip does not want to sit straight. going to put glue on here. My problem when I'm doing a video like this is a lot of times I get design ideas while I'm working, and that really complicates things sometimes, holds me up. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut a little slit right here where the paper clip can poke through. No, that won't work. Never mind. That won't work. Okay. It's not up high enough, and I already have it all tacked down. So I'm just going to take some clips, hold this down, white glues. While the glue sets. That's what I should have said. Okay, now this could be a belly band. Just a little one in a big book like this, or it could go like that, and then it's not, then it's too big, but that would be cool. And then we could use something like this for a belly band, or even a side pocket, or a wraparound tuck. Like that. So many things. Here could be a side pocket. All kinds of stuff this could be used for. So let's decorate just a little bit. Let's decorate with taperology. Okay, I can't handle it anymore. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn on the heater. Put a splash of color on there.
You're not online?
I am.
Repeat.
Keeping it real, living in a small area, you get the hubby pop in every once in a while. Okay, that's all I'm going to do with that. But I do wish, and I wish I had one of those pencils that I see the Paper Out posts talk about. So usually what I will do is just use my ink pen to do outlining. And that will kind of, ink pens will kind of smear sometimes a little bit. Not so much today. Okay, there we go. That's done. Now, the thing is that I always encourage folks to experiment. You're like, oh my gosh, I put all this work into this. If I mess it up, it doesn't look right. That would kill me. But don't be afraid, because there's always something more that you can do. Like, say I didn't like that. You know, like, here's a wink of Stella. Let's see what this is gonna do. See if this, I actually would like it to smear more. There it goes. Now it's smearing more. So that's actually what I wanted it to do. So maybe you don't like that kind of messy look. So you could maybe go over it with a white gel pen, or you could actually cover the whole thing up. There's all kinds of ways of changing things if you don't like them the way that they are. So I've got one more thing for you that I talked about in the beginning of this video, and I did want to shut up my glue before I started talking about that, but I'm not able to locate my top right now. So I am working on embossing on fabric. So I've got 3 different pieces of fabric here. This was like, I want to say linen something or other, and this was like muslin type fabric, and then this is some fabric that I bought from Etsy store, something Holden, Catherine Holden I think is what it was. It's like, looks like journal paper. So I just wanted to use small scraps because this is an experiment for me. Now, the person who did this made envelopes. She posted on the Rach and Bella Crafts Facebook page, and she got her inspiration from, I don't know, actually. But anyways, the technique requires a fabric stabilizer. And So I looked to see where I could get a fabric stabilizer from and how long it would take. The one that I found that is just like the stabilizer that the YouTuber used is available from overseas, and it would cost $5.99 for shipping and handling plus the cost of the product, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to wait, so on and so forth. So then I looked some more around Amazon for fabric stabilizers, and it talked about some other products, one of which was Mod Podge fabric stabilizer or something to that effect. And I was like, I have Mod Podge. Well, in a lot of videos, you will see somebody like Gail, and her last name starts with an A, and I'm not going to try and slaughter her last name by saying it, but she was at one point, she uses a lot of Fabri-Tac, but then she started using art glitter fabric glue. And then as you watch more of her videos, you'll see that there's times when either she or somebody else will just plain use art glitter glue for fabric. So that made me think, well, maybe I can just use regular Mod Podge as a fabric stiffener. So that's where I'm at. I use Mod Podge. So I am going to stamp this fabric, and I'm going to stamp it with Stays On, because I just feel like I should. Whoops, I didn't take the lid off. And I actually wanted to cut these in half because this one feels stiffer on this side. Maybe I didn't put any on the other side. So I wanted to cut this in, not in half, but I just want a different sample. So this one I'm stamping on the side that feels like I've got solid Mod Podge on. So I'm going to turn this side over. And I'm going to do that. Now, do I want to do that on this? This one feels like it's got it on both sides. So now I'm just going to do it on this one. This one I'm not, well, I'll do some stamping on it. Okay. Perfect. So now let's cover up the stamp pad. And I wanted to do one other thing with ink. I'm going to take some copper ink. And I have to make a little stamp pad for this. So I'm going to take this wet wipe and make a little stamp pad. Okay, now we got some pretty shiny stuff in there. And this one, I am going to try and use up the rest of this ink. Okay. I'm not totally trying to clean up these stamps. Just get rid of some of the worst of it. Just so I could use up that white. Right, now what I want to do is take my embossing machine, and I usually don't do this on camera. And I need an embossing folder. This is time-worn type. Knocking everything over. Now we're going to run this through the embossing folder and see what happens. Now what the other person did was they inked the embossing folder to get that ink on there. I didn't do that. So I do kind of see a texture on there. This maybe wasn't the best folder to use. Let me find a different one. Ooh, I know what I want to use, I think. I want to use what's this? Brick and mortar? No. Tasteful texture metal plate, airy melody, seashells, timber. Tasteful texture. Gingham. Let's try the metal plate. Now, one of the reasons I don't like embossing on my craft table when I'm doing a video is because it shakes the camera so much, but I peeked up a couple of times when I'm doing this, and hubby did a really good job of stabilizing the trailer this time, because I don't see the camera moving a lot. In fact, yeah, now it's starting to. It's about the same as in a regular brick and mortar house that I've had in embossing on my craft table. Oh my gosh, I love that. That really, really showed up. That's super cool. Okay, I'm geeking out over this. Let's try another embossing folder with this. Let's try the Merry Melody embossing folder. A lot of times with paper, I won't run the embossing folder back and forth with my machine because I'm afraid that I will split the paper. But for something like this, I definitely want to get a good embossing in. Oh my gosh, I love that. So now, if I would have inked the embossing folder, I think that would have been really, really cool. So, I didn't, but I'm going to take a piece of paper to protect my area, and I'm going to do ink to paper. In this case, ink to fabric. So if you see anything that inspires you, and oh my gosh, I'm over an hour, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But if you see anything that inspires you, please feel free to hit that like button. And I really like the way this turned out. I think that this would have looked really good with embossing the inking the embossing folder is what I want to say. This one I don't see a lot, so I'm going to, and this one I didn't do at all, but I'm going to take this embossing folder, the metal plate, and let's see, I'm going to ink it trying to remember which side I want to ink. I think I haven't done this for a long time. I feel like I want to ink the side with the logo is the way I always used to teach people, and here I can't remember. So I'm going to try that. Part of me wants to ink the side that has the rough edge, but I just remember saying ink the side with the logo. Okay, we'll lay that down. Can't wait to go compliment my husband on what a good job he did of leveling the trailer. Whoa. Okay, I was wrong. I should have gone with my instinct. So let's do it with this. Maybe it was always don't ink the side with the logo. Sounds like a Birds movie outside. Who all gets the reference of a Birds movie? Little Edgar Allan Poe for you. Speaking of which, while I was browsing around on the internet, I saw something that was cool. So this one is de-embossed, but you've got all those little squares on there like cross stitch. Sorry, I didn't have that in the camera. Very cool. I like it. Okay, well, that is what I have for you today. So thanks for taking time to join me on this Saturday afternoon, almost evening. Yep, it's almost 6 o'clock here Mountain Time, and